All right, hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash. Also want to give double honors to our apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule well through the Holy Spirit. And I want to say peace, blessings, and salutations, of course, as always, that unto you elect who are scattered throughout the four winds of this earth, fulfilling your lots in all truth and all sincerity. I'm the brother Sha'ar from the Great Millstone Dallas branch, coming to you all with another lesson, which is inspired by the Holy Spirit. And Lord willing, this lesson here will be edifying to the flock. And this is something new to me here, but in this video here, it's going to be more so a health video. You know, I've embarked on a detox, you know, just trying to cleanse parasites, get mental clarity and such. You know, just trying to go through all that as we all are trying, as we know what the scriptures say. Matter of fact, I'll actually bring this precept out really quick. But when you read this in the book of Sirach, the 30th chapter, starting at the 14th verse, it says, "Better is the poor, being sound and strong of constitution, than a rich man that is afflicted in his body." All right, so even a poor man that has good health is better than any of these people that are out here that are afflicted. You know, you look at a lot of these celebrities that are out here and the horrendous experiences that they got to go through, and just more so, not even just with the celebrities, but these people that are out here within this world. A lot of them are jacked up. You know, a lot of them, you know, are controlled by spirits, demons on them, and a lot of times, it's all spiritual at the end of the day, you know, but, you know, people got parasites in them. They got parasites in them on top of the other unclean spirits that's in them, and they're not trying to get rid of that. And one thing about these parasites, man, shoot, they can control your attitude. If your health isn't on point, they can control the way you think, the way you move. You know, there might be a reason why you can't shake an unhealthy diet, excuse me, is due to parasites. You know, like you think about it, you have certain parasites in general need a host, and they can't survive without a host. You know, so you have certain parasites that can control, you know, dead organisms, like some of y'all, I forgot the name of the parasite, but they can control dead insects, you know, burrow into their brain and kill them. And they pretty much, you know, some of y'all might have saw that before, but you have those type of parasites. And then you have parasites that need a living host, which, again, most of us have parasites that's living within us, especially these people that are out here in the world, you know, and they're feeding it. You know, it's the reason why people have attitudes the way they do, the way they go through mood swings. It's all due to parasites. And again, spirits, of course, you know, but hey, I'm speaking as a man, but them parasites got demons on them, you know. But going back to the whole cleanse thing, you know, just want to be better, you know, health-wise. We have brothers that are around us, you know, that we're around, as you read it in Hebrews, the 12th chapter, where we are compassed about with such a great cloud of witnesses. So, you know, we can't be on point and such without having an on-point diet. You know, diet's got to be on point here, especially within these last days. All right, so this video is going to be a tutorial on me fermenting vegetables. All right, I'm going to explain the purpose of them. And I have carrots, I have pickles, I have dill, I have garlic, and I also have pepperoncini peppers. Another word for it is banana peppers. Okay, but I'm going to finish up on this verse and get right to it. But this is Sirach chapter 30, verse 15. It says, "Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth." And it's all through the Spirit of the Lord at the end of the day. You know, whenever Jacob's trouble comes, you know, we're not going to have access to these dainties here to make our bodies strong. You know, of course, the Lord can lift up a standard. He can have a basket of whatever come down, and we know that. All right, but before all hell breaks loose, the best bet is just trying to get your body as on point as possible. All right, you see examples of brothers. Elder Ayathan did a lesson going into health. Apostle Gabar always goes on his hiking trips when he does lessons and shows. So you have examples of men, all right, that are trying to get their health in order, all right? But let me get back to this here. The point is in verse 16. It says, "There is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart." All right, so, you know, again, we just want to make sure, as we know, we eat our bread defiled among the Gentiles. As we know, we can only try as much as we can. You know, we know that when it comes to the people that harvest these veggies and such, a lot of it's GMO and such, but we have the Spirit of the Lord on our back. And it's all done according to faith, you know? So hopefully this is edifying. I'm going to get to the point of actually cutting up the veggies and putting this video together, all right? So as you all see here, I have my carrots, and I'm just cutting them up in thin strips. You can cut them up however you like. There's not really a particular way that it needs to be done. I'm just cutting mine. It was a smaller carrot, so I cut it in half, cut the bigger piece in threes, and this one's not that big, so I just go in and try to cut it at least in fours, if I can. Well, you know, not in fours, but in twos. All right, it's cool. So that's that. And I'm gonna go in and cut up the rest of these. And like I said a second ago, I also have dill pickle. Well, I have dill, I have cucumbers. I have jalapenos as well, and also banana peppers. Got the radishes right here. So I'm gonna cut these up and toss them in there with the carrots. And how I'm gonna cut them, I'm gonna cut them in as thin as possible, but I don't want to go overboard. Just want to cut up in coins. Now y'all are gonna see too, once these start to ferment, it's probably gonna change the color of the water, because you can already kind of tell. If you look in there, you see that pinkish color. It's pretty potent. I know the pink cabbage is gonna change the color, so these just might do it too. So we're gonna go in and cut them up, as you all see here. And what I wanna do too, I'm gonna make sure I try my best to keep as many seeds in that jar, because what the seeds do is, what the seeds are the source of heat. Okay, so when you're eating jalapenos or banana peppers or any other spicy pepper, it's the seeds that produce most of the heat. So these cucumbers are gonna be the star of the show. I'm gonna chop them up in thin slices, and I'm gonna add some dill, because I got some dill in the fridge as well. And make some dill pickles. So I'll go in and cut this up in threes to the best of my ability. Just cut down. Cool. So this is what they're gonna look like. Cutting them just like that. And I'm gonna do all of these the same exact way. Hey, it's nothing like the smell of fresh dill. Oh man, like when you smell it, like that's that dill pickle smell. Like dill makes a very big difference, you know. So got this dill. I'm gonna cut up. And I'm gonna have about 3 to 4 jars probably of this here. Let me see, I already got my pickle placed in there, so I'm gonna drop in some of this dill. And I'm probably gonna cut up a few more pickles and put them in here and top it off with a little more dill. Thing about fermenting, you don't want to overstuff the jar, because how far I put the water in, and y'all are gonna see the steps, of course. But if I put the water in, I don't want to have anything to be over the water. I want to make sure everything in this jar is submerged. If it's not submerged, it's not going to properly ferment the way that I want, because we want to make sure that we get those probiotics, get that good bacteria going, you know. But I'm gonna go into that here shortly. And for the final veggie, I'm gonna be cutting up this purple cabbage. Well, really, it's not really a veggie. It's more so a starch, because cabbage is more so in the potato family, but it's also another outstanding herb to ferment. It's actually recommended, you know, when I say recommended, of course, you know, a lot of stuff is good to ferment, but this is where you get your sauerkraut from and such. All that comes from cabbage, you know. And again, all this is to promote good gut health, because when you go on a cleanse and you're expelling bad bacteria out of your body, it needs to be replenished with good bacteria. And your good bacteria, that's where your fermented veggies comes into play at. All right. So again, when you're going on a cleanse, you're cleansing out all the bad stuff, all the bad. But in order to keep your immune system going, you're going to have bacteria in your gut still to do its function. And that's what probiotics are. You know, and naturally when you ferment, especially using distilled water, you're going to get more of the probiotic properties from your veggies when you have them fermented with distilled water and salt. I'm not feeling this shit at all. Nope. Nah. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm not even gonna edit this out. I'm gonna cancel the cabbage, because as you see here, I'm gonna run this. I don't want it to drip anywhere. I don't trust that. It's too much brown in there. So I'm gonna go in and toss this, because to me this looks no good. And I'm somebody that eats cabbage very often. You know, I'm a cabbage fan, and this is something that's not really too common. I mean, look at that. You don't want your cabbage leaves looking like that. It looks like material from a paper bag. Yeah, no thanks. So pretty much, I've almost reached the conclusion to this health video. For the final installment, just gonna show you how it's done, because right now, as you see, I have all of these packaged up. I have my carrots and my radishes. I have my dill pickles, and I also have my peppers. And I'm getting ready to do the final process of this, and that is pouring the water in there. Now, it's very important that you use distilled water. And let's say if you want to just make pickles, let's say if you want to just make pickles and such, you can do it with vinegar. It's not going to take as long to ferment when you do it with vinegar. You just have to make sure that the vinegar is distilled as well, because anything that's not distilled pretty much has bacteria in it. Like spring water, you don't want to use spring water when you're fermenting vegetables because of the bacteria that's within there. Because remember, we're letting it sit, and it's going to be sitting for probably close to a month. All right, some cases even 2 months, because I'm not going to open all these up at the same time. You know, so you don't want it to sit there with water that already has minerals and such in it. So that's why distilled water is the best water to use, because it literally has nothing in it at all. So there's no chance for any type of fungus or yeast or anything like that to grow in here. Okay, so as you see here, I'm going to be using distilled water. All right, got Got that there, distilled water. And I want to make sure that I submerge it. I want to make sure that I submerge it. Just as I explained earlier, you don't want anything sitting above the water line. If it sits above the water line, then it's going to be more difficult to ferment. And there's even certain people that put weights. There's certain people that actually put weights on there to hold it down. That way it's submerged under the water line. All right, so we got this water here. Now, when it comes to salt, you know, usually people measure it, but I've done this a few times. So kind of just gonna eyeball the salt content. And then I just have regular sea salt, uniodized sea salt. So you see here, 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, about 2.5 tablespoons really is all you need. You don't need really too much of it. And once you, I'm tripping, I almost put this on there. That wasn't gonna wait. Maybe it was gonna be a wait. So I wanna make sure you put that in there. Shake it up real good. Let the salt get up in there so it can do its thing. But as you see, you got the seeds floating around in there. That way it'll help kick off that spice. I got my pepperoncinis and my jalapenos in here, and I'm gonna fill up one more. That way you all can see it. See, you already see, yeah. See that cloudiness down there? And that's really just, again, from all the seeds and everything that's in there. So it's gonna automatically be a little cloudy, you know. But I forgot to mention as well, when you do this, make sure you clean your vegetables, especially when you're doing carrots and such, because carrots come straight from dirt. So what I did was I had all my veggies soaking in water and apple cider vinegar for about an hour before I really started chopping. And even with the carrots, after I chopped them up, I threw them back in the water with the apple cider vinegar. That way it'll clean up all that dirt, because you don't want dirt floating around as you're fermenting your vegetables, which, you know, it's a carrot, so it's not going to be 100% clean. But again, they come directly from the earth, you know, so there's different things that can be on the outer parts of the carrots, or any of your vegetables that you use, for all that matters, but especially your carrots. So that's why I double soaked them in the water and the apple cider vinegar. But as you all can see here, got my dill pickles. And the good thing about dill is it absorbs water and retains water, so eventually it'll sink. It'll sink eventually. Matter of fact, let's go with it. Oh shoot, no, my bad, y'all. Cool, my bad. So we got that one. And that way you all can see. Let's do one more. Oh shoot, I gotta put my salt in there. I almost forgot about my salt. I need salt. And you can use other salts like Celtic salt. I ran out of gold salt. That's really the salt that you really want to use. It has a higher content of minerals and such. So gold salt is really good to use. Also Celtic salt, but sea salt still isn't bad neither. As long as you ain't using regular salt, that Morton's, not even just the Morton's, but more so the iodized salt. That's the salt that you really want to leave alone. But let's go on and pour one more up. As you've seen, I poured in the peppers, I poured in the dill pickles, and now I'm going to pour in the carrots and the relishes. Boom. Just like that. Everything is submerged under the water. And that salt's really gonna help those veggies to ferment. It's really gonna help big time. All right. Now, I'm gonna also mention this. That was me throwing my spoon in my sink, if y'all were wondering what that noise was. But so I'm gonna fill up the rest of these containers as you all see here, and unfortunately I wasn't able to knock out the cabbage like I wanted to, but I'm probably gonna get that knocked out tomorrow, maybe before work, if it be the Lord's will, because I definitely want my fermented cabbage. I want my sauerkraut, you know. But for those of you all that do plan on making fermented vegetables and you are storing it up, make sure you store it for at least a month. And in that month, make sure you burp it, all right? Because it's going to start to develop gases within the water, all right? And when I say burp it, you know, you want to just crack it open and close it back up. That's how you burp it, all right? Because when you crack it open, all those gases are going to bubble up in the top, all right? And again, it's important that you do that. And also, too, very important that you do not open it up. Once it starts its fermentation process, you don't want to open it back up. Once you open it back up, what happens is oxygen gets within there, and once oxygen gets in there, it stops the fermentation period, and it's going to start to rot because it's sitting out. All right. It's one thing is if in the fridge, you know, usually that's why when you buy pickles and you crack them open, naturally you're supposed to put them in the fridge because the fermentation cycle is completed and oxygen has gotten in there. All right. So it's very important that once you're going through your fermentation process, you burp it, but you don't want to allow oxygen to get in there because instead of fermenting, it will start to rot. And that's what we don't want. All right. So hopefully this was edifying. I'm going to end it off on that. All right. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that do rule well through the Holy Spirit. Peace, blessing, and salutations to you elect, fulfilling your lots in all truth and all sincerity. Let's go in and kick it up to another gear. All right, let's kick it up to another gear. Esau's got all these poisons out here, but we got the spirit and understanding to combat these snares that this devil's throwing our way. All right, shalom, shalom. All right, so I got them stored here in my closet. Gonna have them there for about a month. Shut the lights off. Because when the lights are off, man, I don't know what it does. I think that's why a lot of people like the darker color mason jars, because it does aid in the fermentation process from what I've heard. But from what I've heard from many people, again, I don't know the exact reason why, but they say it's good when you're fermenting veggies to keep it stored in a dark place. And I guess something with the light and fermentation, it doesn't mess it up per se, but I guess it can do something to it. So, you know, usually when I ferment, I store it up in a dark place, you know. But yeah, shalom.